What if your toxic partner mirrors the same exact dynamic as your parent, as how things were with your parent or your parents or, you know, a caretaker, right? Now, I'm not here to talk about my own life in this specific set case right here. Um, what I am here to explore in my own personal life that I've experienced is how things unfolded later on for me in terms of friends and choosing objects, meaning people, that mirrored that later on. But let's dive into the whole matter of choosing a toxic partner based on a dynamic of parents, right? So, the fascinating thing here, right, is that whatever it is that we learn in childhood, right, we usually seek that out later on in life in terms of relationships and specifically when it comes to partnerships romantically, right? And it's fascinating too because, say for instance, somebody who had a very critical parent, right? That dynamic of that parent being critical on that child became very comfortable and familiar to the child, and they tend to seek that out later on in life in a romantic partner, right? They might not like it, but they still do it. And the reason why they do it is because it's comfortable and familiar, and it's a pattern repetition. It's a repetition compulsion matter, right? They look for familiarity and they seek it and they're attracted to it, right? This is why some people choose narcissistic friends, narcissistic partners, right? Um, Somebody that learned that dynamic early on in life, they tend to seek that out, right? And the fascinating thing, too, here is more on the subject of the matter of friends, right? Earlier on in my life, I had people that I considered friends or even best friends that I didn't realize until years ago were exceedingly toxic, dysfunctional, and unhealthy for me, right? And it's fascinating because I chose those people because it felt comfortable and familiar for me, right? And then years after that, I chose another person as a friend, no names, but it fulfilled the same familiar and comfortable dynamic of toxicity, dysfunctionality. This is what Chris believes he deserves, so this is what he's going to choose, right? It's fascinating. And so, another thing as well, if if these toxic dynamics are present very early on in your life, right? They're going to be normalized. If you are raised by somebody that was very controlling, right? You're going to seek out somebody who wants to put you in a box and control you. And that's the reality of it, right? We attract and are attracted to people based on what it is that we learned. If somebody had a totally healthy, and don't get me wrong, no childhood is perfect. No child comes out of childhood without some level of trauma. That's just the reality of it, right? If somebody had a healthier or a very healthy childhood, right, where they got the healthy boundaries, they got the individuation and the differentiation by packages, um, then they're going to be attracted to people that allow them to be their own autonomous self and have their own boundaries and have their own self expression. Um, it's fascinating to me because, in terms of friends, I've been attracted to people, especially earlier on in my life, that wanted to control me. I noticed that a lot of people didn't like that I use words that they considered bad, right? They considered curse words, right? And it's fascinating because I really really value self-expression. And specifically, I see my own ability to use whatever words as I want as self-expression, right? And so it's fascinating because to the extent that I value self-expression and being able to verbally express myself, I have also chosen people that want to control me. And I'm not just talking about romantic partners, I'm also talking about friends. I have chosen people that want to control me, um, because it's comfortable and familiar. It is a dynamic that is familial, right? When you learn that you shouldn't say certain words, I don't fucking buy it, as you can see. Um, oh, those words are bad. Those are curse words. They're just words. They're just a part of self-expression, right? But the very reason that you choose these people, and I found myself repeating this pattern over and over and over and over again in life, is because it's comfortable and familiar, right? To some extent, and this is the kind of dark side of it, I would argue, but to an extent, you feel comfortable and familiar in being controlled by somebody, being told what to do by somebody. So when this person is gone from your life, you're going to find somebody else that fulfills the same fucking role of putting you in a box and telling you what to do and controlling how you express yourself. That's the reality of it. I have found myself doing this multiple fucking times throughout my entire life, right? So when you attract friends or partners that are toxic, and they maybe mirror, again, I'm not here to talk about myself, I'm just here to talk about um the dynamic that is real, that actually happens when people are raised by toxic people, right? This is just a matter of comfort and familiarity, repetition, compulsion, repeating patterns, and choosing objects that are comfortable and familiar. Hey, this person raised me and they were very controlling, or this, that, and the other. You mirror that. I'm going to choose you. Just like saying it out loud is kind of humorous because it's like if we were actually like conscious of it, which we're not, which is why it is repetition compulsion. You're just repeating a pattern of choosing an object, a person, to fulfill the same fucking role of putting you in a box and telling you what to do because that's comfortable and familiar. It's fucking wild. It's totally wild. Um, so how do you get around that? Well, the first thing you need to do is recognize what it is that you're doing, right? Recognize that you're choosing somebody based on what it is that you were raised with, right? Um, and you're going to continue choosing people based on that until you heal that, till you realize the fucked upness, you realize the distortion there, right? Um, but it's wild because like you might deep down inside of you know that you don't want somebody that is toxic, that you don't want somebody that is abusive, right? You might know that, but that doesn't change that you're still attracted to it. Understanding why it is that you're attracted to it, getting to the root of it, is the biggest thing here. Why do you keep attracting toxic partners? Well, that's a dynamic that is comfortable and familiar. That was ingrained in your psyche. You know, this is what you deserve. So this is what you're going to be attracted to, and this is what you're going to attract, and this is what you are going to choose over and over and over again, subconsciously and unconsciously, until you open your eyes to it and you're like, oh, wow, this is familial. This goes really deep into childhood, right? Um, Let me take it a step further before I end off here and even say, a lot of people not only do they attract toxic partners based on familial dynamics, but they also attract partners that remind them of their role of pleasing mommy or daddy because they are enmeshed still, and that is comfortable and familiar to them. So they continue to choose people choose friends, choose partners. Again, it's not just a matter of romantic partners, it's also a matter of friends. Who are you choosing to be your friend and why? Do you understand the dynamic? Do you understand where it comes from? Do you understand that you're probably just still enmeshed with mommy and daddy and you're trying to please them through all these people, right? You're projecting mommy and daddy onto them because you want mommy and daddy's validation because you didn't get a healthy childhood and they didn't give you the healthy transition of first validating and approving of you and then showing you that that's your job to do for yourself so that you don't seek it extrinsically, which is fucking bass backwards, right? Um, and leads you to just cultivating exceedingly unhealthy and dysfunctional relationships where you are getting nothing from your friendships or romantic partners. You're giving everything, you're exhausting yourself, you're trying to please so that you can feel worthy, right? Understanding the dynamic is very, very important. Knowing the why of it will help you understand what's actually going on.